So in the third episode of this Blender interior course, I'm going to be modeling the kitchen island and kind of finalizing the basic modeling for the scene. And then, next week we're going to be doing some texturing. So let's get into it. So we're back in the scene now, and this block here is essentially what I created in the first episode of this series, and this just demarcates the size approximately of what the island would look like. And so what we're going to do is we're just going to flesh this out with a little bit of detail, and well, ultimately we want this to be finished. So just to recap, last episode we modeled this kitchen setup, and we haven't done any texturing or UVing yet, but we're just going to model the island today, and then the week after we'll probably get into that. So I'm just going to duplicate this cube that I created. I'm going to set a height of probably 50 mils. So I'm going to go 0.05 on the Z axis. And I'm just going to snap it to the top of that kitchen bench top, just so that they line up. Ugh, I keep clipping. Okay. And so this is going to be the general section of the, I guess this is demarcating the top of the island. So what I'm interested in doing is almost a material change on the top, but we'll get to that later. I want actually this to be solid potentially until this point. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring this across maybe up to, so I'm going to snap it to that third point. And the reason why is because I want there to be some stools that can kind of sit up to this point. And then I'm actually going to cut this in half here. And then I'm going to extrude this bit out. Just like that. And I actually want there to be a stovetop on the kitchen island. So I'm just going to demarcate that area now with some overhead range hoods. So I'm just going to make this bigger on the Z axis. And I'm just going to go back in the view and see how it's looking. I think it would be really cool if we're looking at the composition to do something asymmetrical. So almost as if we're clicking, so if we click on that, we can see that's kind of it's almost a 1/3, 2/3 setup. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to create another cut there. And then let's just see where this can fall. Let's just have a look and plan. This is very much just design as I go. So I think from a design point of view, it would probably be quite interesting to have the stovetop asymmetrical to the kitchen island, because normally like it's all symmetrical. So if you're gonna go the other direction, you gotta really like make it asymmetrical. You can't do it halfway, otherwise it'll just look unintentional. So we're gonna put that there. That's kind of demarcating where the stovetop might go. Maybe something like that, and then this would probably push back a little bit. So we go out of isolation mode. Where is that? We're going to snap that up. And I actually have a kitchen model which I'm going to just import in, which is highly detailed, and there's no way I'm going to model that. Alright, so we are back in the scene. I've just got these elements here, which I'm going to add to the island. So I think that's probably a good spot. And like, if you are kind of a 3D modeler and that's your role, like you'll probably be modeling the kitchen, like all the furnishings and elements and stuff. But that's not actually my role, so I'm not gonna do that. And so I'm just gonna add those elements over here. And I'm going to probably, I don't know if it matters if it's asymmetrical, the sync. I think it probably does need to line up. So I'm just gonna go select these these 4 items real quick. Just gonna go in bird's eye view and I'm just gonna line these up. It probably needs to line up, I think. Yeah, that's pretty good. All right. Yep. Okay, cool. So what I'm going to be doing in this scenario is just basically creating a boolean and then solid opping the boolean to allow you to actually see that. Although I'm just thinking that would kind of mean that the UVs would be a bit messed up. So what I'm going to do is actually just I'm just cutting a hole, deleting the faces, and then I'm just going to select each edge, and I'm just going to snap it to that point. It ultimately doesn't matter if the topology is a bit weird, because we're just going to be UVing it anyway, and it'll all come out as a box. Yeah, kind of like that. And then I'm just going to lift that up to the edge, I think. Maybe not. No, I don't think so. I'm going to actually close, by selecting both top and bottom edges, I'm going to select them and then press F. And that will basically bridge the gap between the edges. So real helpful little thing there. So I've also brought some soap and stuff in. I just think it's nice to give the scene a bit of life initially, just to just to see how it might be used. Okay. And then I'm gonna just add this in. Let me just think. I think if that's the fridge. No. Okay. I'm actually gonna get rid of that handle there. We're gonna actually add this in here, in line with Oh, actually, no. Actually, I think the oven can be underneath here. Can it? Yeah, I think that probably makes sense. Yeah, okay. So we're not going to add that in. We're going to actually undo that and then bring that handle back. As you can tell, like a lot of the stuff I do is just on the spot, just making decisions. Yeah, I think that's probably quite good. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to make another cylinder. I'm going to ramp the vertices up to like 100, maybe 150. And then I'm going to make the radius probably 300. So we're going to go 0.3. And then let's just bring that in. We can make it smaller if we need to. Yeah, that's probably... Oh, yeah. Yeah, that's radius, so it's going to be a little bit less. I mean, a little bit more. Let's make it a bit taller. Oh, it's chunky. Okay. I'm going to go back into isolation mode and just bring this over. Something like that. Looks quite good. Let's just go back into the camera view and just assess where we are. Yeah, it's probably quite good. As a composition, I think it's quite interesting. I might even Depends. We could even bring it further across, but I think that even that's a little bit stronger as a composition. But what that means is that I'll then need to probably just make this here symmetrical. Otherwise, it's kind of, we're going to be pushing the sink so far to still line up with the stove top that it just becomes not practical, or impractical, as you'd say. Cool, we're just going to snap that over. We're just going to go in here, grab that bit there, we're going to bring that across. Remember to use snapping always, guys, because we're not savages. Yeah, I think that's quite good. And I'm actually, just because there's too much happening over here, I'm going to bring that across to here, maybe. You got to almost think about composition as like flower arranging. You know, you're always just trying to balance it out. And it's always nice to create a bit of tension in the scene, a bit of tension and release, if that makes any sense. So like this rain shot here is off-centered to the kitchen, and it adds tension. And then these two elements here, the sink and everything, they kind of balance it out a little bit. So I'm just going to quickly find 2 stools or 3 stools maybe, and then we're going to add that in. I think even potentially this could come across here. Just so that there's a little bit more space. But then it's not centered anyway. Yeah, I think that's quite interesting. Yeah, okay. So I'm going to quickly find some stools and I'm going to chuck them in. Alright, so I just found a whole bunch of stuff from another scene. I'm just going to chuck it in. And I actually kind of prefer these chairs. So let's just bring this across and then we can kind of clean it up. So I'm actually going to replace the current dining chairs with these new ones. I'm also just going to quickly check to see what the UVs are like for this table. They might actually be alright. So then I'll just do a straight swap. Let's just go back into isolation mode so it's a bit quicker. Oh. Okay, let's just add a material. Oh, that actually looks quite nice. Cool, okay. What's that there? Don't really know. Cool, and I actually brought some lights in as well, and I think that'd be really nice over the kitchen island. So first of all, let's just bring these chairs in. I'm not sure what that is. I'm just gonna delete these. Cool. Let's just bring that in. Swap it over. Just bring it down here for now. And then I'm just gonna delete these ones. Oh. Because I actually use these chairs a lot, and I kind of want to mix it up a bit. Sometimes you get stuck using the same stuff, and it makes all your renders look very similar, which is okay, but you know, you want to mix it up every now and then, which is kind of what I'm doing in this scene. Like everything in this scene is a little bit different to what I'd normally do. So let's just go into top-down mode. Literally can't see anything. Here we go. So we're just gonna kind of line this up, just within a good distance of the couch and the kitchen island, and let's just bring that across. It feels pretty good. Cool. And then I'm gonna just bring these lights across. Gonna go back into the exact same mode. I'm going to drag these right on top of the kitchen island. I'm kind of lost a little bit, but oh, yeah, it's over here, isn't it? Cool. So what we're going to do in this composition is actually almost balance out. It's going to be quite almost poetic. You know, we're going to have two lights and then this big chimney almost. I'm going to go back into the other scene because I actually did something exactly like this, and it's a nice color. So it's actually this scene over here, which I think I did a breakdown of, but that was quite fun to model. So I'm just going to copy this here, and I'm going to paste it in, snap it here. Jeez, that's pretty hefty. It's a big one. I don't know if I want to go that big, but it did look quite it did look quite good here, but it does feel a little bit like a little bit weird here, so I'm just gonna make it a bit smaller, maybe something like that. Let's just make it a bit bigger as well. I kind of want, nah, that's okay. I'm just very careful about, like, it's nice to do this here, have this kind of overlap, but we don't want like this. So I'd rather have it centered in there. Oh, yeah. Wait, what am I? Okay. Yeah, I think that's probably fine. I want to make sure that like the person standing there doesn't bang their head. I think, okay, I can actually go as probably low as the cabinets there. Let's go back into that view. I'm going to go a little bit lower, just because otherwise there's no overlap, and we want overlap because it actually creates a bit of depth. Yeah, that feels pretty good. And then I'm just going to bring these stools across and we're going to call it a day. Let's go back into top-down mode. And then we're just going to drag these in just over there. Drag it down. We're going to snap it. Oh. Snap it to this point here. All right. And I think that's pretty good. Yeah, I like that. So we're kind of just filling out the scene with a whole bunch of stuff. We've got our sink, we've got our cooktop, we've got our range hood. So I hope you guys found that useful. Next week we're going to be getting into doing some UVing, some texturing, and just getting all the materials set up and looking good. So I'll see you guys then.